Welcome to Behind the Lines, coming to you from the socialist, Marxist lines of Washington State. It's a crazy liberal petri dish for the rest of the country, folks. Stay up to date with all the great news right here. Hey guys, welcome to Behind the Line. Well, all the financial fallout from COVID is starting to rear its ugly head. The hotel industry is taking a big hit here in Seattle with about $651 million estimated to be lost in taxes that would have been collected from people traveling to Seattle and staying in hotels and that sort of thing. Seattle actually has the lowest booking for hotels right now on the West Coast, with 20% or less of capacity in most hotels, and hundreds of people have already had to be laid off, obviously. And they're talking about possibly 100,000 people losing their jobs due to the slowdown. Crazy thing about this too is reading these articles that came out about this and then looking at the comments on social media, and I see a lot of people saying that this isn't because of COVID, that it's because of the homeless problem and the crime problem in Seattle. But if you believe that, you've got your head buried in the sand. This is definitely because of COVID, because of everything being shut down. Thousands of people not coming to the city because there's no reason to. You know, there was no cruise season this year, so all those cruise ships that would normally come to Seattle and bring millions of dollars a day in tourism money gone, and there's no way to get that back. You've got major hotel chains like Hilton closing well-known locations permanently. They're closing some locations in New York City, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot of hotels across the country closing down permanently because they won't be able to recover from these losses. The other thing that I see happening now on the East Coast is transit is taking a big hit in Boston, in Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., New York. They're all talking about slashing transit, which obviously on the East Coast is huge. New York City's talking about cutting their subway service by 45% and eliminating night and weekend service, or drastically cutting it. Same thing in DC. They're talking about eliminating night and weekend service. And, you know, in those cities, there are a lot of people who that's their only mode of transportation. So they're out of money, and you know, I guess unless the federal government decides to come in and give them money, they are just out of luck. And I know here in Seattle, King County Metro is talking about slashing more service. So cuts like that are only going to hurt the people the Democrats claim to care the most about, low income and people of color, because a lot of them rely on transit services. And then you're going to have people who commute to work being hampered in their ability to get to work. And then you've got all these new taxes that they're already talking about coming out with. You've got employment security wanting to raise unemployment tax some 900%. You've got the state talking about wanting to implement an income tax to make up for the losses. And now we've got the Department of Transportation saying they're going to raise toll rates to make up for losses there because there's been less people on the road. So they're not collecting the amount of tolls they thought they would collect. In fact, they're 45% under what they expected to get from March to current. So Seattle has implemented a new payroll tax that's going to hammer, employers and workers there, which, of all the times to start putting more tax on business in Seattle, they're barely surviving as it is. Washington is already one of the highest tax states in the country. We have one of the highest sales taxes in the country, some of the highest property taxes in the country. You can bet they're going to try to raise any and all of these taxes they can to try to raise funds. And they're going to have to give us a break. They cannot tax us like this right now when everybody's, out of work and hurting for money. And, they're talking about when they have the next session at the Capitol, and I'm sure all these bills are going to come to the floor. They're going to be remote. They're going to close the Capitol because they want to protect lawmakers from COVID. So that means your ability to speak against these bills is going to be hampered. Your ability to listen to what they're proposing is going to be behind closed doors, which means you won't have a say. The simple solution to all of this would be to open it back up, open the economy back up, do it safely, do lower capacity or whatever. But I guarantee you there will be a surge of money and taxes collected because you've had people cooped up for months and months, and they would like to go out and be social. So short of that, there's no answer, because the federal government collects its money in the same manner, and so they're collecting a lot less money as well. And if the economy's not running, there's no money coming in, and you can't just expect to print money out of thin air, because somehow that has to be paid back. And as it is now, the 30 trillion or whatever that the country's in debt, I think I read somewhere that would take like 250 years to pay off. So it can't be paid off. This is all coming down to some sort of reset or wiping out of the debt, I think. I don't see how this can continue the way it is. So I'm sure we're going to see more taxes announced in the coming days, folks. So buckle up. Anyway, I hope you have a great night and be safe.